Hey guys, today I want to talk about a big issue in our industry, and that is disconnect between client-facing staff, anybody who's doing consultations, managers, and owners. Some practices are going to be smaller than others. Some are going to be bigger. Some are going to have robust org design with 20 to 30 team members. Some are going to be a little bit smaller. So what I want to point out today is your med spa is no different than any other business, right? You're still going to have you as the owner right here, right? And you as the owner, this is what's, the expectations, the goals, everything, the accountability is going to flow from you, right? So you typically are going to have maybe 1 or 2 managers, and you're going to have your staff, right? So a lot of us in the med spa industry, we don't have org charts. We're doing things in a fast pace, and the problem with that is there's a misalignment here between these folks and also the owner, right? So what we need to ensure, and depending on the size of your practice, is you need to make sure that you, as the owner, set the right expectations, right? So if you have this layer of management right here, you want to make sure that these managers they report to you on expectations you set out for them. So if you don't have expectations for your managers, right, how are you going to be able to accomplish anything? So there's owner. Your role is to set goals, right, and targets, and it's to keep your managers accountable, okay? Managers, they're the ones that are going to be keeping your nurses, your NPs, your injectors, and your technicians accountable. They're the ones that are going to make sure that your nurses and NPs are providing good customer service, and they're the ones that are going to make sure that everybody is selling. Right? The problem, and obviously your, I'm going to call them technicians right here. This layer of folks, they're the ones who are going to be fulfilling the services, and many times they're going to be the ones who are selling. You want these people to sell because they interface with your customers and your patients the most. So if managers don't have expectations for these people to sell, they're not going to sell. If they have expectations for these folks to fulfill only, that's the only thing that they're going to do. So if you expect your technicians to sell, but your managers don't have the right expectations or framework or goals in place for them, they're not going to sell, right? So a lot of times what I see is that an owner hires an agency and he's not getting the ROI, he's blaming the agency for not getting him results, but he's not reviewing the numbers on a daily, weekly basis for their managers, and the managers are not holding their technicians accountable for these numbers, right? So when we want to talk about some best practices, how we get better, right? One, we want to make sure I have clear goals and expectations for both layers, right? For both your management and for your technicians. If you don't have that, there's going to be a misalignment, and you have to figure out the right type of roles for these technicians. Like, are they only going to fulfill the services, or are they also going to sell? And a lot of times it's both. So you want to make sure they have the commission for selling, and you want to make sure they have a good base for fulfilling services. Your management is the one that's going to be reporting to you as an owner and holding these people accountable, right? They're the conduit. They're making sure that these people are showing up to work. They're doing what they're supposed to. They're fulfilling for their clients. They're selling. And they're going to make sure that, for the goals and expectations you set in place, they're meeting them. And if your technicians aren't meeting the goals, providing good customer services, driving retention and your sales, you got to hold your management accountable.